I am Grandmaster Arthur Gonzalez from the Tiños de Cuerdas system. It is one of the three schools, famous schools of Stockton, California. The Tiños de Cuerdas is the Corto system. And then there's the two famous other schools with Ángel Cabales from the Cabales Cerrada system. Then there's Leo Jerún from the Bajalana, from the Largo system. They're all famous and wonderful men. I got involved actually because my father was a farm labor contractor where they worked in agricultural areas. Back then, my father used to hire a lot of illegal aliens to pick the crops of the fields, you know. And when it was concerning picking, like for example, grapes, the immigration would come and always take the illegal aliens away, right? So my father decided to hire Filipino crews because they had papers, well, some of them. And then my father, without knowing, hired two Filipinos. One of the Filipinos was Angel Cabales. Angel Cabales, he was the foreman to run picking the Tokay grapes. And there was a field there that he used to work. And my dad sent me to that field to make sure everything was okay. So I went to check up, and before I went to a country store, and the first thing you do when you're in any kind of store, you go directly for the magazines. And then on that magazine there was Angel with his stick, and he's like this. And I go, oh wow, you know, so I got it and I bought it. Then I go to the field, and then I reach where Angel it was, which I did not know it was him. So I just walk in, and usually try to walk in unannounced. You don't want them to know. And then, so that's what I did. So I'm checking out, and all of a sudden I heard something go click, 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 click. What is that noise? So then I looked through a vineyard, and I saw these two guys. They were kind of like sparring. I go out, what you guys doing? They go, oh, nothing. I'm just telling him he's picking too much green grape, no green grape. And then I go, oh. Then I looked at him, and I go, you wait right there. And I turned right around. I went to my pickup. I went and grabbed the magazine. I brung the magazine, and I go, hey, you're him. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm Angel. And I go, oh my God, you know? And then I said, this is wonderful. You know, my dad hired this guy, and this is how our friendship developed, being Angels. And then my dad sent me to another area where it's also about packing grapes, but it was packing Zinfandel. There was another Filipino crew, and the crew foreman was Gilbertino, my instructor to be. I had my buddy with me that at that particular time we were training Renblukay Karate. So when we got there, I went directly, and I went where I saw Tiño. I had a little shirt on, Renblukay Karate, a little triangle thing. And then he goes, oh, you take martial arts? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, would you like to play? Play? I go, play? I don't play, I kumute. And he looked at me, oh, okay. And then my friend over there is egging me on. He goes, fight him, Art. Play with him. He wants to fight with you. Go ahead, play with him. And he looks at me, it's okay with you? We can play? And then my friends, kick him in the head, Art, kick him in the head. You know, my Gary, you know. And then I said, nah, man, he's older than me. And then he goes, it's okay. And then I said, all right, well, I was gonna start with a regular, you know, reverse punches, and I was going to do a kick and hit him, and that was going to be into that. Well, before I knew what happened, I was on the floor, and he already had my arm like this, and I was twisted, and all I can remember him pulling on my arm. His hand went on my cheek and tapped me, and he goes, you need to learn more. You need to learn more, boy. He goes, it's okay. And then he just let me go, and as I'm starting to faint. And then as I turned to look at him, all I saw was his back. And then I just fainted. And then my friend was on me, and he's waking me up. And I start, you know, swinging my arms around. He goes, calm down, he goes. And I go, why didn't you defend me? Defend you, he knocked you out. Oh, great, you know. So where'd he go? He's over there. So I went to talk to him, and then that's why Tiño became my instructor, because he knocked me out. That's why I knew this is for me. I was going with Angel, but that was my love. My instructor knocked me out, and I didn't even know what happened. See that? So what happens is when you come here and when you jerk, it was brutal. In the old days, it was brutal because he liked me. When somebody likes you, the old guys like you, they beat you. There was something about me that he really liked, and I trained with him. At first, he started teaching us the stick, and then from there, my instructor, John Eliop, took over because, like I said, John Eliop and Dencho Revelar studied with Angel Cabales, and when they finished, they left. So John Eliop started teaching me, that was a student of Gilbertino, Cerrada. So that's the first system I started learning with Cerrada. And then Tino started teaching me hand to hand. He didn't play too much. It wasn't too much. It was like straight in. He trained me that in his art, it was a physically fast system. It's to end the art quickly with as minimum amount of movements with a lot of explosive powers in there. So the first one is the zero beat. Zero beat, that means to evade and hit. And if you're trying to build a system that is a fast art, and if you're going by a 3-beat, by the ones where they go, you know, parry, strike, check, that's 3 systems. It's too long, too fast, and if the strike's coming, it's not gonna work. If you use the stick, and they say the stick, all it is the same movement, use the hand. No, it's not. Different timing, it won't work. You'll get punched in the face when you're going hand to hand. So you have to adapt to the timing. That's why the old guys adapted to the timing, to the rhythm of the fight, okay? That's why there wasn't really no techniques back then. So in the zero beat, you would evade and hit. And then as soon as he taught me that type of fighting, how to evade and hit, it was very quick, very fast. You're trying to punch me, and as soon as it comes, I just barely move, boom, and I hit you. And I can hit you with my 5 main weapons. I can hit you with my fist, elbow, head, knee, or foot. Yes, it's a fighting system. Then he taught me what's called a 1-beat. A 1-beat is when you parry with the same hand and hit at the same time with the same hand. So all it does is, you're hit. Okay, then everything comes in 3, so you're striking 3 times. I will always hit you 3 times, and it'll always be directed to muscle, joints, or vital organs. All the time I'm touching you. And then the other one is called a 2-beat. And what a 2-beat means is that with one hand you're parrying as the other one is striking you at the same time, simultaneous block and hit, boom. And then from that progression you move into a 3rd beat. A 3-beat is the strongest of them all. A block is the slowest thing you can do, because when you block, you're at the mercy of your opponent because you're waiting for the opponent to strike you. And if you're like, I'm not gonna wait here, well, you're in the mercy because you gotta wait. It's your systems, you gotta block. So then if you go parry, grab, strike, that's a long movement. In reality, where it's very fast, you're not gonna be as quick. But if you use the parry, grab, strike as a trapping art, and you're entangling the arms of your opponent, or as you're switching from down and low, as this is coming, as the hands are handling the hands, and if the legs are kicking at the legs, that guy won't have time. And this is how he built his system to become a physically fast system. Not too much movement, it just right there. And then once you know all this, you apply the same things to disarming. And about disarming, like a stick or a knife, my instructor did not believe in disarming because he was old time. The fastest way the fastest disarm is a strike. So that's why my instructor taught us how to generate power from earth. So the surge, as the power is coming, and we hit with explosive power, or chi, as some people might call it. And our objective was, if you punch me, you have 2 bones. And my instructor only asked for me to break 1 bone. Just break 1 bone, either the bottom or the top one. If you're trying to hit me with a stick or whatever, if I touch your hands, I'm going to break your bones. It's meant for that. So as soon as we learn how to do that, then he presents us with a staff. Because the staff, when you have the staff, it teaches you to go up, teaches you to go down, teaches you to rotate. So if I put the staff on you, I hook it here and I go like this, now I'm learning how to use circular power, spiral power. I'm learning how to spin the center axis. I'm learning how to tilt the center axis. Now we're talking about the meat of a complete martial artist. All the martial arts have to do that. Then you have to have concepts, which then you blend the concepts in multitasking concepts. I can spin and tilt your center body just by going. I spun your center body, now you're down. And my instructor's thing was positioning. That as soon as I touched you, I would position, and it's only to open you up so I can have access to your internal organs. We were organs, so we're immediately striking your brain, we're striking your lungs, we're striking your heart, we're striking your liver, we're striking your spleen, we're hitting your kidneys. And as much as pressure points, my instructor's key thing was when he started teaching us, he would teach us to fight at night. So at night, when there's a pressure point, S9 or whatever pressure point, you know, GB3, it's very hard to see something at night, especially when the other guy's moving and stuff. But what cannot move as fast, or it's easier to hit, is organs. So your brain's an organ. So your lungs are organs. So your spleen, your liver, your kidneys, something that you need, it's a vital organ. You need it now. We'll shut it down so I can seize it up. Okay, because we're a mother art and we have healing arts, we know the nerves. The nerves reach into the body cavity and go in there, so that's why we strike them. And because when you have a weapon, a knife and everything, we know how to hit the organs. Because everything he taught was wartime. If you have to take out a guy, usually because it was the enemy, and the enemy cannot make a noise. And that's why we treat it as everything. So everything that he taught us was to fight at night. So one of the biggest things that I think that makes us special is that he taught us how to utilize peripheral vision. And if somebody's trying to hit you, and if you turn and look at them, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at night because you can't see, you blind yourself. If you look at the hunters, and if you look at the guys, they kind of turn to the side and they start using the peripheral vision. Well, that means he taught us how to fight under duress. And when your body falls into duress, the first thing that you gets knocked out, okay, is your peripheral vision. Your body is dying, so it starts shutting down. So because once you know this stuff that's happening to your body, you can reboot your body and tell it, hey, I need my peripheral vision. Don't shut it down, because if I go like this, now I can see you and I can see the people around me, because my art was meant to fight multiple opponents. It was for war. So those are the things that are interesting. Well, how in the heck can you train the peripheral vision? We have drills for this, where people are striking you in the famous king punch. The king punch for us that he trained us against is called the sucker punch. How can you stop a punch that you cannot see? A sucker punch, you're like this, somebody comes from right here and hits you. And when you're playing with a knife and stuff like that, if you're always looking at it, you're gonna miss it at nighttime, okay? So can you imagine a sucker punch with a knife? But my instructor taught us how to deal with that kind of stuff, because that's military stuff. That's what makes my arts interesting, and that's why I stuck with my instructor. I knew I was at the right place, and I have the heart for it, and I have the attitude for it. I've been teaching it here in the United States, in Europe, Mexico, and I plan to take my instructor's art all over the world, if God permits me. The Filipino arts come from jungles, come from tactics, the same tactics that the Filipinos in the jungles did. The V, the L, it's the same thing that the SWAT teams use. So then I already know how to teach SWAT team without even being police officers and stuff, because I am the one that knows how to teach them to go against many against one. Because that's part, when you're training the authentic Filipinos art, you train one against one, and then you train one against two, one against three. So you're fighting many people. So and then you train the many against one. So then that is actually SWAT. I am an international police instructor because I've been teaching, like in Mexico, the SWAT teams over there, for over almost 15 years. When I go to Europe, I teach. And one of the things that people come to me are the correctional officers or the police officers. And why is that? Because one of the things that we're famous for is the knife. And one of the weapons that correctional officers are very much afraid of is the knife because of the prison system, the culture of the knife in there. Well, they're very interested in me because I have something called the bad boy. The bad boy, he has 98% kill ratio. When he attacks, he's probably going to kill his opponent, and he usually attacks without provocation. But he trains to attack, okay? And it's very, very simple. This hand is coming, this is repeatedly hitting, and then why are the correctional officers are going to me? Because I teach them how there is a new criminal in the United States, and they're professional criminals that they know how to fight against the bulletproof vest. So if I go against you and you have a bulletproof vest, you have your gun, I'll probably end up with your gun as I'm stabbing you, but your bulletproof vest is in my way. So I know how to hit your vulnerable areas, and at the same time, I'll manipulate you where I'm lifting your bulletproof vest as I'm hitting. And once I hit, then I know how to remove the weapon. So our system is very good in gun retention, how to retain this knife. What do you do if a guy comes with a knife and at the same time he reaches for your gun, and as he's hitting you, what do? Do you grab the weapon and you let him take your gun? That's the question. That's what I teach them, and how to defend against this. And that's why they come right here and we train specifically against this, because I'm following the principles of my instructor that our art has to be practical and it has to work. Like he used to say, the shit has to work. And that's what we do. And all we do is bring the old fighting systems into the modern world and adapt it. Here's a sombrada. Yes, the cuerdas is a mother art. What I mean about a mother art is that any art that's a mother art has to have a healing art. And my instructor knew how to heal. And in the art called Hilot. Later on, I cross-trained into an art called, from the Japanese Okazaki method, Civic Jiu-Jitsu, to complete myself. My instructor had weapons, and the first one we learned was the stick, and we treated the stick as a stick, where we know the capabilities of a stick. Then we treated the sword as a sword. You know, stick goes to bone, blade goes to flesh, and it's meant to kill quickly. And we were trained to go, he used the new modern version of Eskrima, which is two bodies, a group of people that would clash. That is Eskrima to me. So it's fun when you clash. The cuerdas basically has weapons, has the sword and shield, has the sword and the spear, has the sword, the shield and spear, and then has the flexible weapons. I use and I show a rope technique, which the rope is a very vicious thing. Why did my instructor teach the rope? It's because he was military, and he said that if you were ever caught prisoner, you're honor bound to escape. You are probably disarmed, don't have a weapon. You have to use anything that's around you to make it a weapon. And if there's any wire, there's any kind of rope, the rope can knock you quickly into unconsciousness, or it can send you into convulsions instantly. And you can also tie up your opponent And you can also, if you're sent to a mission where I need that head guy from that person and that group over there, so you would infiltrate, where we learn how to infiltrate and reach over there, and with a rope, boom, you just knock him out and tie him up, and we bring him back safely because he has to be alive. So this gives us the ability to teach SWAT teams, because that's what they do. They go on point. You know, everybody does a certain task, and everybody's taught a different thing. So my instructor's art, it's very, very good with the hands. And we don't dwell too much on one specific thing, because it's the world is so big in the martial arts that I don't want to spend all my life, 30 years, just on the stick, because I have other fields that I do. If you look around, you got jiu-jitsu guys, you got the Goju guys. They're wonderful martial artists. I want to be competitive, and so I can be proud of my art. There's something in art called integrity, and integrity means we have to always continue to be fighting against other than FMA guys. We go against other types of martial artists, and that's how we became a big ohana. It's a 3V. It carries, grabs, and straps. However, if this is blocked, one of the reasons that I can go into another martial art that they might be strikers, and I can go in there and tell them, hey, you want me to increase your power 3 to 4 times more? And they'll look at me like, no, I'm the striker here, you're the stick guy, remember? And I'll go, well, here, do it this way, boom, and I can show them how to strike 3, 4 times more stronger and faster, because it gives me that ability. It gives me the ability to go teach SWAT people, military people, how to do stuff organized, systematically, and that's the key, you know. And the only reason I can do this because my instructor didn't teach me by technique, he taught me by concepts, and he has a system that it's meant to teach quickly, and they have to have retention, and they actually have to be moving by the time you end with them. So that's something that you can use quickly, okay? And then from there, the stick is not the same timing as the hand. It is not. You could say you can mimic, yeah, you can mimic all you want, but you'll get beat up. When you go against a boxer or against a Muay Thai guy, you'll get beat up quickly, you know? So then you start learning how to do that.
Outside. You defend that hand. Okay. There. Okay, now, remember, look.
That's bad for me to answer because I am proud of Stockton. I'm in love with Angel Cabales. I am in love with Leo Herun. I'm in love with my instructor. For us, that was the world. I mean, like, Angel was one of the first ones that opened up a school. There's also Leo. Okay, my instructor was the we were always the one with the smallest schools, because Athino, because he was brutal. That's why if you ever come to my class, you'll see big guys that love to be hit, because I'll hit them. People say, you're a bully. No, I'm not a bully. It's the nature of my art. But I'll hit you.
Now, the removal, most likely you're going to come down here. I'm going to come down here too.
In the beginning, yeah, there was turmoil, but now it's more like, let's get together, you know. We have parties, and I had a student of mine that we did Grandmaster seminars, and we brought the 3 schools together. We brought the Largo Mano school. Leo went. Angel had already passed, but Vincent Cabales for the Cerrada came, and of course, my instructor, which Richard Tino, son of Gilbert Tino, went, and I taught. And so that right there kind of like calmed everything down. We had beer, we had picnic, and ever since then, Stockton has been together. It's friendly. They're ruffians. They love to fight, you know. Just go. I recommend you want to have action, go to the Bahalana guys, and you'll see action right away. They're wonderful people, you know. I just invite everybody to come and see what Stockton has. We have great martial artists. We have guys that'll just amaze you. One of my friends, you know, Carlito Bonjoc, he's in a wheelchair, and he just amazes you, man. He's in a wheelchair. He's my buddy. He's my homie, you know. And everybody's trying to promote their art. They're from the Cerrada system. They're teaching for Angel. Then of course you have the Bahalana schools, and then mine. Now, when Mark Wiley came out with a book and he mentioned the cuerdas, as soon as I saw that book, I knew I had to do a fence, put a fence, and I did. And I'm the one that coined Tiños de Cuerdas, because the cuerdas they're talking about in the book, that's different. That's another de Cuerdas. Tiños de Cuerdas is the stuff that he brung from Bajul. And for him, the cuerdas is of chords, it's musical. They fight by rhythms and beats. So your arm, if you punch me and if I go like this, you have 3 strings that come this way. You have 3 strings that come this way. And when I grab them, I'm touching them. When I go like this, I'll affect your heart, okay? Or I'll affect your lungs. So like if I touch your body, I can affect you and shut your body down. That is called the black hand. And what we do is fight in true time. It's like boxing. I'll do it as we're trying to fight. That is the black hand. My thing is that when I strike into your chest, I'm not trying to go through your body. What I'm trying to do is I hit, and I want my energy to stay inside your body so I can explode it. If you ever heard about somebody punching you, giving you a black eye, well, I want to give a black eye to your liver. That's my objective. And then when you're more advanced, then why hit one organ? Why don't you just take them all out? All the organs out in one hit, and you can shock the system into it. I was taught in the river how to channel this energy in the river. Isn't that strange? That was my type of training. I do not regret at all that I stayed with Tiño. Yeah. But I am authentic, and all my brothers from the other schools will attest to me. One of the things that I've always been careful of doing is being honest. I protect my integrity. I don't lie. What I say is what I mean. And I'm passionate about it because I am protecting the honor and integrity of my instructor, Gilbert Tiño.